Good morning. Good morning and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Cultural Coast. I'm Reverend Theresa and I'm really happy that you're here with us. This is our 11th week love streaming, and I really needed to see you all this week. Probably never more than this week did I have the need for community and connection with you all. And so I hope you enjoyed that slide. I enjoyed looking at your faces, and I invite you to join us for the Zoom afterwards so we can have some coffee and conversation. You can get your own coffee and we'll all talk. For those of you that are new to Science of Mind, I want to give you just a little precursor. It's a way of life, a philosophy that teaches about the unity of all life, that teaches that there is one source, one substance, one creator, one creative process, and creation itself, and that it's a unity, that all life is the expression of the one. I am, you are, an expression of the one. This one source is intelligent, it is creative, and we participate in that creative process through our beliefs, our thoughts, our feelings. Jesus said, "It is done unto you as you believe," and that's what we teach. But so many of us, unfortunately, are creating from an unconscious place. We're really not aware of what's driving our thoughts and our feelings, and that's very important because we're creating from that place. So until we wake up, we might have some painful days. We might suffer. But I know that there's a better way, that we can have conscious choice. I want to read to you just a short paragraph from Living the Science of Mind. This is page 1. And Ernest Holmes says, "The science of mind is built on the theory that there is one infinite mind, which of necessity includes all that is, whether it be the intelligence in man, the life in the animal, or the invisible presence, which is God. In it, we learn to have a spiritual sense of things. This spiritual sense of things is what is meant by the consciousness of Christ. To be able to discern the spiritual idea back of the physical symbol is to use the mind that Jesus used." This presented a problem for me this week, this idea that everything, to have this reminder to have a spiritual sense of things, because what I was seeing, and I suspect what you were seeing in the news, didn't feel very spiritual. But we will have no bypassing here, no spiritual bypassing here. As I've been saying all along since the pandemic started, we need to look deeply into how we are feeling about things. And the murder of George Floyd is no exception. Whether you watch the video or not, this was a blatant and shocking death. In Science of Mind, we do not say that there's peace when there's not peace. What we say, and that can be misunderstood sometimes, what we teach, what we say is that peace is available at every moment, that it is inherent within life itself, within each one of us, within a condition or a situation. But we must activate our own consciousness to that realization. All people are divine incarnations. And I believe that this understanding of unity and of our inherent power within that understanding is the expansion of our evolution. That's it. To know this and to use this. This is our evolution. So I will not add to the hatred, but I will not look away. I'm white, and I do not like this. It is not okay with me. Let us go into prayer. I recognize that there is one life, one power, one love, one unconditional love, one presence that shows itself in and as and through all life. It comes from the invisible realm into form by means of me, by means of each one of us, by means of each one of us. These hands are its hands. This heart is its love, is its heart. And I affirm divine right action in all its activity, in all its doing, in its thinking, feeling, in, as, and through me. And I affirm that for each one of us, each person within the sound of my voice, each person everywhere, for all of life. And I affirm our awakening. I affirm its unfolding. And I affirm its goodness, and its love, and its peace, and its harmony. And I expect to see it. And so it is. Thank you. Thank you again for being here with me this morning. I need you to be here in community with me. And so now we're going to go to our guest musician, which is Len Seligman, and I am thrilled to have Len's presence and consciousness and love and talent with us this morning. Len.
So I'd love for you to sing along with me. We're going to invoke prayers coming from both the Buddhist and the Hindu traditions, but it's really all about this oneness that Theresa was just speaking about. And we're going to sing, the part to sing along with me is Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram. So Ram is one of the names of God, and you can feel the vibration of, if you just say Ram, Ram, feel that in your chest, how it just vibrates the divinity within and without. So what we're saying when we sing Shri Ram, Jai Jai Ram is hail to Ram, hail to the divinity within us and without us, and victory to this sense of oneness, victory to this interconnection, which is what is real over the illusion of separation. Calling out to hungry hearts everywhere through endless time, you who wander, you who thirst, I offer you this heart of mine, calling out to hungry spirits everywhere through endless time, calling out to hungry hearts, all the lost and left behind. Gather round and share this meal. Your joy and your sorrow, I make it mine. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. 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 Sitaram, 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 Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. So Sita is the female aspect and Ram is the male aspect. So we're uniting opposites, male, female, black, white, overcoming distinctions and differences. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, 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 Sitaram, 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 Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Calling out to hungry hearts everywhere through endless time. You who wander, you who thirst, I offer you this heart of mine. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Oh, I just have to take that in. Thank you, Len. Thank you very much. I have to collect myself before I say something. I'm doing a reading on Bob Fiebert's. The reading today comes from Science of Mind magazine. It was written by Reverend Dr. David Alt. It's called The Pain. The first quote is from Buddha: "Pain is inevitable, suffering is optional." And from Ernest Holmes: "Someday we shall decide that we have had enough of suffering." And here's the reading. There's a fairly common workshop exercise designed to shine light on the idea that we do not travel this life path alone. I refer to it as an affiliation circle. Starting off jovial and light, everyone gathers in a circle and is then asked to step into the middle if they've had coffee that morning or traveled more than 100 miles to be there. Those who step into the middle acknowledge the others who've done the same, then move back to the outer circle. Questions then become deeper, more vulnerable, and a powerful opportunity arises to bust the myths that we are alone in our struggles, our sorrow and shame. Yet an even greater lesson exists in this work, understanding that our pain isn't special. At first this sounds harsh, but with reflection, we hopefully begin to see how holding the belief that the story of our pain is special, that our circumstances are somehow so far removed from anyone else's life, shuts off the freedom from that pain, freedom we claim to want. Spiritual teacher Ram Dass shared that we may elevate ourselves from being so identified with pain, not referring to it as my pain, but the pain, the collective emotional current so intrinsic to the human experience. It is essential to fully feel the feeling whenever it visits, but don't become it. In other words, witness it, allow it, then release it. As the late Japanese poet Kenji Miyazawa shared, we must embrace pain, then burn it as fuel for our journey. The journey we travel can be fueled by our loyalty to love, and love allows our wounds to become wisdom. The affirmation is, I bring dignity to every feeling and give them freedom to come and go. And now we have another song from Len.
So this song, Theresa was talking about how she was really feeling the need for community very strongly this morning. And I feel that. And one of the things I've been really touched by through this difficult time with the pandemic, and now, recent news is just so upsetting. But in the pandemic in particular, with the pandemic, people haven't always reacted beautifully and from a place of nobility, but so many people have, and so many people have shown up for each other in such beautiful ways. And that's what inspired this song, which I just wrote pretty recently. It's called Here for You. You lost your best friend, the future's unknown. You are afraid, you feel alone. You pray for a way out of this pain, and you wonder, is it all in vain? I wish that I could keep you safe and sound. There's an earthquake rumbling, there's no solid ground. You may doubt everything you thought you knew. Oh, I am here for you, here for you, here for you. My friend, I'm here for you. By your side to help you through. Oh, I am here for you. So if you're feeling like it, you can join me on that chorus. Here for you, here for you. My friend, I'm here for you. Here for you, here for you. My friend, I'm here for you. By your side. By your side to help you through. Oh, I am here for you. I'll be here through the lonely night and gently remind you, you don't need to do it right when you don't know how to start anew. Oh, I am here for you, here for you, here for you. My friend, I'm here for you. By your side to help you through. Oh, I I will not say, find a silver lining. I will not say, this is part of some plan. But I will show up and listen. I will take your hand. I am you, you are me. In times like these, it's plain to see. Angels among us show the way, and we make the world more beautiful every time we say, I'm here for you, here for you, my friend, I'm here for you, by your side to help you through. Oh, I am here for you. Oh, I am here for you.
Len, that was so great. It was beautiful, perfect. Thank you. Our theme all month long, the month of May, has been listening to your heart. Listening to your heart, and this week specifically is these hands. These hands. So last week we talked about surrender and surrendered action. And so we're moving from surrendered action into awakened doing this week in our conversation. So I'm going to hit on 3 key points, really, is backtracking a little bit into last week with non-resistance, surrendering into what is, and how that has part in our evolution, how that has part in what we create from that point, and the evolution of humanity as well, and how our science mind principles and practices can be used in all of this, and how they help us listen and hear and find what is ours to do. So this listening piece, let me talk about that first. Listening to my heart. I have done a lot of that this week. I have done a lot of listening to my feelings, as Bobby read in that writing by Reverend Dr. David Alt. Listening to my heart in the wake of George Floyd's murder and the continued unrest and violence, and it's pretty much everywhere. You know, the news really shows that unrest and violence is pretty widespread at this point. So I'm paying attention, I'm listening, and I'm finding healing in lots of places, finding wisdom in lots of places, and I want to share some of that with you. One, those of you that are in our CSL Cultural Coast group page on Facebook here, you maybe, hopefully, saw David Gittins and Linda Marie's video post this week. Legacy was the name of it. And in there was a statement, you are awakening in a boiling cauldron of choice. Let that sink in. You are awakening in a boiling cauldron of choice. Yeah. Good morning, America. We are. We most definitely are. We most definitely are. And as I said last week, you know, I like to say we're always at a point of choice. But Eckhart Tolle corrects me and says, yeah, when you're conscious. When you're not conscious of your feelings and your emotions and your thoughts and your beliefs, really, what is your choice? You're recreating from that level of thinking. This requires us to do some work. It requires us to go deep. Listening to my heart was part of that this week. And feeling into, leaning into being with the pain and the suffering. The pain, as Bobby talked about, the pain. Now, I know I can come back out of it. I'm not afraid to lean into my feelings. Number one, because I've been there before. I've done it. I've gone into the dark places and I came out in a much brighter place. But I can do it also because I have a strong belief in the way life works. I have a very strong constitution, my faith, my belief in the way life works. But I also can do it, go into those dark places and know I can come back out because I'm white. Because I'm white. Because I have the privilege of distancing myself if I want to. Our black and brown friends do not have the same luxury. This is my belief. This is my feeling. I read this week, I got this book this week. So you want to talk about race. And nobody really wants to talk about race. It's an uncomfortable conversation. It doesn't matter what color you are. It's an uncomfortable conversation. But it's time to have some uncomfortable conversations. Anyway, the author here, Ijoma Alua. She talks about, in one of the chapters, an uncomfortable conversation she had with her mother. Now, around race. And you would think, well, why would that be? Because her mother's white. Her mother's white and has black children. And her mother loves her children and thinks they're fabulous and wonderful and has always raised them to feel that way and think that way. And she certainly has always seen them that way. But their experience is something different. And that's an understanding that white people can come to. It's an understanding that her mother came to, that we may be loving and respectful of all people and love all people and raise all people like her mother, right? But the experience of another person is something that we don't own. We don't own, and we may not understand fully. Her mother didn't understand fully. And that was an amazing chapter for me to read and realize her own mother did not understand her experience. So I just want to say that I care, I see you. As I said in my opening, this is not okay. I'm white. This is not okay with me. And I'm sorry, and I'm here, and I will listen. Len, your song, again, was just so perfect. It was so perfect. And so please hear me. I don't speak for anyone other than myself. I never do, and that's my ministry, is always from my own personal perspective. I don't speak for all white women. I don't speak for all ministers. I don't speak for all Science of Mind ministers. I speak for Theresa. And in what I share this morning, it's not because I think all cops are bad or all white people are bad or all white people are racist, because I don't think any of those things. What I do believe is that all people are divine incarnations of the One. And I believe that false beliefs bind humanity. That false beliefs bind us. My belief is that we can awaken. We can awaken beyond this, and that we are awakening beyond this, and that there's greater possibilities for love and peace and harmony. And there's greater possibilities for us to live in a just world. So last week I talked about surrender. I talked about surrender from Eckhart Tolle's position from his book, The Power of Now, right? And in here he talks about how surrender is not about defeat. It is not about giving up. It is not about being lethargic, not at all. It's something entirely different from that. So if you hear me say the word surrender, it's not that white flag idea of surrendering. It's not about being passive. It's not about being a doormat. It's not about being held down at all. And it doesn't mean that we give up on our dreams of living in a just world. Our dreams, our beliefs, our desires for a better world, a beautiful world. Surrender, as Eckhart Tolle says, is simply yielding rather than opposing the flow of life. So I want to go back to the feelings and the emotions that maybe were quite pronounced for you this week. They were for me. Our emotions are here for a reason. They are in us and moving through us to get our attention. And for each one of us, there is social emotional learning and understanding that we can gain from leaning into our emotions. And from that place, we are so empowered. It is from that place that we can create change in our lives. And that gave me such solace this week. That really, truly gave me peace this week, was that understanding. Suffering does not diminish the intensity. Suffering does not diminish the intensity, or in intensity rather, it does not diminish in intensity when you make it unconscious. Right? When you deny the emotional pain, it doesn't just evaporate, it doesn't go away, and it will emanate from you whether you're recognizing it or not. And I've seen that. I've witnessed that in other people. And what we teach is cause and effect, law of attraction. And so we are creating from that place, as I said earlier. We're attracting from that inner state of being. In Science of Mind, we talk about the subjective mind, the subjective consciousness, race consciousness, the unconsciousness, the collective consciousness, as Jung would say. The pain that again Bobby read about, that is in the subjective. That is in the collective unconscious. We need to face it and feel it to be able to transmute it, to transcend it. And we can't be superstitious about looking at it. We simply look at it, feel it, understand it, and then we are empowered, we are strengthened to release it. Ernest Holmes says that there's something, capital S, man, there's something within you that remains unaffected by transient circumstances. I read this last week. That's everything. Transient circumstances is everything we experience. It is not the who we are as a soul, but it's our experience here in life. And it's only through our surrender to it that we have access to it. It's only through our surrender that we are empowered. So my life is the life of the divine made manifest. Spirit works through me, Spirit works through my hands in this world. The same is true for George Floyd and for his aggressors. No one is superior to another person. All are the incarnation of the divine. And I understand this. And I felt it deeply this week. So these hands are the hands of God, and I look at my hands and I ask, what is mine to do? What is mine to do? And so I ask you to join me in that right now. Ask yourself, What is yours to do? These hands, your hands. What is yours to do? While I am not a fan of anthropomorphic references to God, I don't use he, him, any human characteristics. I do love this verse from Saint Theresa of Avila. She says, Christ has no body now but yours. No hands, no feet on earth but yours. Yours are the eyes through which he looks compassion on the world. Yours are the feet with which he walks to do good. Yours are the hands through which he blesses the world. Yours are the hands, yours are the feet, yours are the eyes, you are his body. Christ has no body on earth but yours. Isn't that beautiful? Thank you, Saint Theresa. So Christ consciousness is the seeing and the sensing of this spiritual nature that's beyond or within or back of all form. It's the energy of life itself, inherent in all life. So why the suffering and the pain? Why this tragedy again and again and again? Why? Ernest Holmes says that our evolution is an awakening to what was before we awoke to it. I'm going to read that again. Our evolution is an awakening to what was before we awoke to it. We awake to these principles, to the existing principles of life, and then we can use them. And someday, as he said, we'll decide that we've had enough of this suffering. Eckhart Tolle, in this book, A New Earth, which is the one I used a lot this week, Awakening to Your Life's Purpose, he says in here that consciousness is the intelligence, the organizing principle behind the arising form. It's exactly what Science of Mind teaches. That the unformed flows into this dimension as awareness, as consciousness. How? How does that happen? Through us, through me, through you. That the human form that becomes conscious fulfills its destiny. That's what he says. That the human form that becomes conscious fulfills its destiny. This is evolution. This is evolution. In Science of Mind, Ernest Holmes talks about involution and evolution. It's a confusing things for us students to wrap our head around. But evolution is not cause, but an effect. Consciousness is cause. Okay? Evolution is not cause, it's an effect. Consciousness is cause. Involution precedes then evolution. Yes? In our own personal life and in humanity, that's what we're seeing. Thought precedes form. Thought always precedes form. And this is our job now. This is our job to remember this, and this is our job to stay in touch with that, be conscious of it. And there is a helpful natural urge within us for greater expression, for more love, for a greater expression of itself. That's the self-givingness of life. Ernest Holmes says there's an unfolding principle in us which is ever carrying us forward to greater and greater expressions of freedom, love, joy, and life. So the act of involution is a conscious one. That's the planting of the seed. Okay? That's the planting of the seed in the fertile soil. That's involution. Evolution is the seed growing. We don't know how to do that. That's not our job. We don't do that. But we consciously, if we want to make a change, we consciously plant the seed. And then evolution is the outpicturing. Our conscious involvement is necessary. Our conscious involvement is what makes the difference in the world. And then we move and act from that. Yes, 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 yes. So Eckhart Tolle in here talks about awakened doing, awakened doing. So I love that. You know, last week he talked about what was it called? The surrendered action, which he said was really powerful, to be in that place where you're leaning in but not pushing through, that was a really active spot. Well, now he's talking about awakened doing. And he says the awakened doing is the outer aspect of the next step in evolution of the consciousness of our planet. Awakened doing. That is requiring us to be conscious, requiring us to have our eyes and ears and heart and mind open, not looking away, but being open to what is. And awakened doing requires us to be in alignment with our inner truth, with the inner truth of all people. And therefore, then our outer work, what we do, follows from that. It's through our awakened doing, he says, that we're unified with the love and the outgoing purpose of the universe. That's when the universe gets to move in as and through us. He says its consciousness flows through you out into the world. Then you know what is yours to do. Then you know what these hands are to do. We catch this consciousness, the stream of consciousness, we align with it in the stillness. Through our meditation, our visioning, our spiritual mind treatment. Next week is our first Sunday. We will be doing a meditative, contemplative service again. So I invite you to be with us. These are my spiritual beliefs again, and these are my spiritual tools that I use. This is what Science of Mind teaches. And we're not here merely to survive. We are influencing evolution by our choices. We are influencing evolution by our choices. Your words, your deeds, your actions have evolutionary consequences. And we're seeing that in our news right now, aren't we? Your words, your deeds, your actions have evolutionary consequences. So, what are my hands to do? It's an important question for all of us to ponder. For me, I continue to teach universal spiritual principles and practices, principles of unity. I teach that we're empowered from within to make the world better for ourselves and for other people. And I have incredible gratitude that I want to say thank you to my mentors and colleagues this week that loved and supported me, whether directly or indirectly, through all their writings and sharing. I was truly uplifted by that. So what I know for you is that love guides your hands in divine right action. And so it is. So we're going to go back to Len now. Thank you.
Love guides your hands. So this is another new song. And it relates to the issue of spiritual bypass that Theresa was talking about before. It's called Love is the Answer. And you could think, oh, well, maybe it's about everything is groovy and, everything's cool and everything's perfect in the world. And it's really acknowledging our wholeness and all the things that we feel. And one of the things I've been feeling lately is anger. And anger is not bad. Anger can motivate us to action. But we don't want to stay stuck in that angry place. So this is Love is the Answer. Every day I read the news. Sorrow fills my heart. Children gunned down by weapons of war. Families torn apart. I see red. I wanna lash out at the ones that act so cruel. But hate can never drive out hate. Vengeance is the path of a fool. Love is the answer. I know it's true. Love is the answer. Only love can pull us through. Love is the answer. I know it's true. Love is the answer. I know it's true. Love is the answer. Only love can pull us through. Friends of mine feel danger from a surge of bigotry. How can I stay silent and pretend that I don't see? I hold a picture in my mind of my great-granddaughter's face, and I know I need to do my part to make this world a kinder place. Love is the answer. I know it's true. Love is the answer. Only love can pull us through. Martin Luther King showed us how to stand strong for what is right. And he never let hatred cloud his loving sight. Love is the answer. I know it's true. Love is the answer. Only love can pull us through. Love is the answer. I know it's true. Love is the answer. Only love can pull us through. Only love can pull us through.
Thank you, Len. That was so perfect. Every song, just brilliant. I'm so happy again that you were with us this morning, and I encourage anybody, if you came to us late and you missed his first song, his opening song, please go back and listen, because it was perfect to be able, it was a chant and perfect to be able to carry us through these times. Yes, love is the answer. Love is the answer. So thank you. Thank you, Len Seligman. It is now our time of giving, and I want to just tell you how important your contributions are to keeping this ministry going and keeping us afoot during these times, and so we can return once the pandemic's over to greeting each other in person. And we also are a tithing community, so your tithes come into us, and we also disseminate back into the community. And I want to tell you that I'm really inspired this week to make sure that we're supporting equality and people of color. And so we will make a specific intention to do that. And I'll be talking to our Board of Trustees about that. And any of you that are interested in helping us find recipients, I'd love to talk to you. So please join us and share your ideas. So right now, Evan is posting in your chat the 4 ways that you can give. It's also up in the description if you're on YouTube or in Facebook. At the description, it'll tell you there more. If you click on more, you'll see there's text to tithe, there's PayPal, you can mail us a check. And so take a look at that. And Evan is also going to post this Ernest Holmes prayer, this Affirmation of Abundance that we've been reading. And I'm really enjoying this. And as we think about stepping into the law of circulation in our own lives and attracting good into our own lives, let us also know that for everyone. And that there's an endless flow. There's an endless flow to all our good. So good and more good is mine.
An ever-increasing good is mine.
There is no limit to the good which is mine.
Everywhere I go, I see this good, I feel it, I experience it.
It crowds itself against me, flows through me, and expresses itself in me, and it multiplies itself around me.
I receive the gift of life and pass it on. I receive the gift of love and pass it on. I receive the gift of joy and pass it on. I receive all good and pass it on. I receive the gift of life and pass it on. I receive the gift of love and pass it on. I receive the gift of joy and pass it on. I receive all good and pass it on.
Thank you. I love that. I love that. I want to just remind you that we have other opportunities during the week to connect with one another. Tuesday night, I host a prayer circle via Zoom, and Thursday evenings, Julie Birch hosts a meditation group via Zoom. And so you can get those Zoom links by going to our website, which is CSLCulturalCoast.org, and scroll down to the bottom and sign up for the newsletter, which is simply our email list, and we send those out on Tuesday mornings. Something else that's coming out as of today via that email, and I also will be probably tomorrow posting it on Facebook, and letters are going out if I have your address, is a survey around the pandemic and when you feel comfortable for us resuming our Sunday gatherings. And I'd really love to hear your opinion of that, and where you sit with it, how you feel about that. That's really important to us. and your board of directors and myself will take that into prayerful consideration as we are making plans, or when we begin to make plans. So look for that. And again, if you want to be involved in that survey, make sure that you're on our email list, and you'll get that. I think that's all I wanted to say. I'm going to go over to my laptop and put the Zoom link in for our meeting. And please know that I invite everyone to come into that and chat about today's talk. Let's have a conversation about it. We've been doing that the last several Sundays, and I tell you, it's really enriching me, and it's inspiring my conversation for the following week. So it's been rich and good, and those of you that have been participating, I thank you, and I invite everyone. And with that, I'm going to let Bobby close, and I love you.
I'd just like to mention, when we were meeting at the Garden Club, we had prayer requests every week. We had I don't know, 2 to 5, 2 to 7 prayer requests every week. So I'm sure there's still people with prayer requests out there. If you have a prayer request, they go to Theresa and the prayer practitioners, me and Elaine Silver and Tom Dieter, and we have upcoming new practitioners too. So if you'd like to send those to prayer at CSLCulturalCoast.org, we will keep you in prayer. So do that. Prayer at CSLCulturalCoast.org. And so let's close with Let It Shine. There's a light at the center of everyone. It can light up the world just like the sun. There's a flame within us that can light our way. It can burn away the darkness of a troubled day. Let it shine, let it shine. Let your light shine. Let it shine, let it shine. Let your light shine. Whenever you see darkness, you've got to know that the light is within you. Everywhere you go, whatever you are facing, whatever's on your mind, you can help illuminate it. Let your light shine. Let it shine, let it shine. Let your light shine. Let it shine, let it shine. Let your light shine. Let it shine, let it shine. Let your light shine. Let it shine, let it shine. Let your light shine.